Okay, so this is 4.3, which is sales processing. This is a bit of a longer one than the last one, but hopefully it'll help to make it a bit clearer for you. There's 3 methods of selling that we need to go through, and then we need to have a little look at customer service at the end. So we'll start with the 3 methods of selling. The first is e-commerce, which I'll come back to because I'm going to do that in massive detail down here. The second that you need to know is face-to-face. And face-to-face is the conventional selling method that you and I both know. It's going into a shop, speaking to a customer service advisor and buying something at a checkout. So it's a good opportunity for interaction between the customer and the customer service advisor. It allows you to build a bit of a personal relationship with the business, which is really, really good. People tend to find that they've got much better service from a face-to-face shopping interaction than from an e-commerce or telesales interaction that we'll look at in a little while. It provides you with an opportunity to see and feel the products. Some people particularly like this, and it depends on the product. Some products you might not actually care about, but some products you really, really need to see and feel. If you're a repeat purchaser of a product, this probably isn't important to you because you've done it before. But if it's a new product, this might be of value to you. However, face-to-face is really, really expensive for the business. They've got to put up with expensive rental costs. They've probably then got a high staffing cost. They've got rates, business rates, insurance, public liability insurance, all of those things that make this a really, really expensive way to sell. Also, a lot of people now use face-to-face selling more like a showroom. I'll put that in inverted commas. What I mean by that is they'll go into the shop, see and feel the product, get a feel for what it's like, which one they want, and then they'll go online and find it cheaper and order it online. So the business itself isn't actually benefiting from forking out all this money because the transaction is going online. It's really, really important where service is important. Face-to-face selling provides you with that customer interaction that people really value. So for some products where the service is really, really important, face-to-face is really valuable. For example, buying a wedding dress. People have that image in their head of going into a shop and dealing with a customer service advisor, seeing and feeling the product when they're buying a wedding dress. Or buying a brand new car, people again prefer to do that face-to-face rather than online. The next sales process that we need to look at is telesales. When I say telesales, I mean telephone, not television. Telephone sales. This is kind of a middle ground between face-to-face and e-commerce, which is what we're going to go on to in a minute. Some people who might not be comfortable shopping online because they're not comfortable with the technology might be comfortable shopping on the phone. They might be more comfortable with that. So that increases your customer base. It's person-centric. You've got the opportunity to speak to a person, and in that sense, you've got the opportunity to haggle as well. As a customer, when you're buying something over the phone, you've got the opportunity to negotiate and knock the price down a little. However, there is a negative of this, and that is cold calling. If you're cold calling your customers, that gives you a really bad reputation and it might decrease your sales. Also, if you call people at inconvenient times, they're probably going to be a bit annoyed about it. They're going to have a really bad image of the business and they're probably not going to buy through you. So next up, we need to talk about e-commerce. I'm not going to put that there. I'm going to put it here. So e-commerce is buying online. Now, if you remember back in, I think Unit 1, we spoke about digital distribution. This is slightly different from that. It's not buying a product online that exists online. It's buying a physical product. So it's buying it online, but you get physical delivery of a product. This has a massive impact on business activity. Firstly, location. You can choose to locate your business wherever you want if its sales are e-commerce based. You can also choose to break down your business functions and locate your business functions in different areas. For example, you could put your warehouse on a cheap bit of land near a motorway because it's better for delivery, and you could have your call centre on a business park because it's more convenient for getting employees in. You don't have to have it all in one place because they can stay connected by technology and all of the sales happen via e-commerce. You've also got new skills. So this might mean that you're creating new jobs, things like website developers, customer service, email advisors, that sort of thing. It might mean that you need to train your existing staff, which has a cost. And it might mean that some of your staff may leave or be inclined to leave because they're intimidated by the technology. These skills might not come easily to some people, so you have to bear that in mind. It can also have an impact on your number of employees, and that can go up or down. It may be that you need more employees. For example, say if you have a clothing business and you decide that you want to launch an app, like a lot of them have recently, that might increase your sales, so you might need more employees to manage that. However, if you are a bank and you start offering your services online on some sort of app, you might need less people in branch, so you're going to reduce your number of employees, and that's going to have a redundancy cost. It could mean that you need new departments created. Like we discussed in new skills, you might need specific departments to look after things, like specific online customer service departments. It also changes delivery. Click and collect has become more prominent. All companies are liking that. It gives customers the opportunity to know that the product is going to be in store when they go in. And on a personal level, I like it because it's generally cheaper. You don't have to pay for the delivery costs. You've then got things like Amazon Prime that offers you next day delivery, and Argos is same day delivery even, which is really competitive. In the future, they're talking about things like drone delivery. All of that is changing because of e-commerce. That's not necessary in face-to-face, but this type of technological advancement has to happen because of e-commerce. So we need to look at the advantages and disadvantages of e-commerce, and we need to look at that in terms of advantages and disadvantages to the business and advantages and disadvantages to the customer. So let's start with advantages. Advantages to the business: you can sell worldwide. There's no limit to where you're shopping. If you've got a face-to-face retail unit on a high street, you're only selling to that high street, whereas if you've got a website, you can sell worldwide. And that means that small businesses can have access to really, really big markets. You're open all the time. Sales can happen 24/7. Even when you're not actually working, sales are happening overnight, and then you can process them the next day. So there's the opportunity for revenue generation 24/7. You can produce a professional looking website at a low cost compared to the high cost of kitting out a professional looking face-to-face retail unit. And it's lower operating costs compared to face-to-face, like I've discussed before. In terms of advantages to customers, you've got price comparison. If you find a product online, you can trawl the websites and find it in the cheapest possible place. You're not going to go shop to shop to shop to shop to do price comparison, but online that's very, very easy. You've got 7-day availability. You can order something whenever you want to arrive pretty much whenever you want. Even if something's out of stock, you can usually set up email notifications or pre-order, that sort of thing. And you've got access to a wider range of products. If you know that you want a toaster If you go into a little shop on the high street, there might be 5 toasters. Whereas if you Google search toaster, there's probably millions and billions of results for you to choose from. Disadvantages. Disadvantages to the business. If you're selling worldwide, you've got worldwide competitors. I've just got an awful feeling that I'm not recording. No, I am. Good. Worldwide competitors. You've got to deal with delivery and returns. In terms of delivery, you're usually going to outsource this. So you'll hire somebody like Yodel or UPS, and you've got to rely on them to provide a reliable delivery service. If they don't, the customers are going to complain to you. They're not going to complain to Yodel. Also, when things get returned, you've got to have a returns department to process them, check if the products can be resold, organise refunds, that sort of thing. Online security. Like we've discussed before, GDPR is now really, really big. If you're storing details of your customers online, you've got to be really, really secure. And you've got to keep up to date. If your competitor launches an app, you're going to have to launch an app, and that's going to cost you. Technology doesn't stop. Disadvantages to customers: lack of personal contact. Some people really value that. You might find that people actually email you or try and call you anyway, just to get that personal contact, make sure that you're real. Problems with returning. There's nothing I hate more than having to pay for returning something. That really annoys me. What if you send something off to return, it doesn't actually get there? Or what if you send something off to return and then it's 2 weeks until you get the money back into your bank account? That's really, really irritating. You're only seeing an image of the goods. You're not getting to feel it or touch it. Security. You're running a risk of somebody else having your personal details and being in charge of them. And the actual technology, particularly for the older generation, they're not all keen on technology. They're not all keen on paying on card. They're not all keen on using websites. So that actually rules out people who aren't happy with technology. The next thing you need to consider is customer service. In all of these processes, you've got to deliver some sort of customer service. And that is to help maintain or increase your sales. If you've got existing customers, your customer service helps to keep hold of them and make them buy again. And it also helps you to attract new customers. You have to remember that there's always going to be a competitor ready to take your customers if you deliver poor customer service. They're going to say that they can do it better and take them there instead. So, there's 3 things that are really, really important in customer service. Firstly, good after sales. That covers returns, exchanges, recalls, all that sort of thing needs to be done really, really well, fast as it possibly can. It's particularly important to deliver good after sales with luxury products. People want to have somebody there to talk to. If you've got any sort of guarantee or warranty, you need to have a good customer service department to deal with that in the long term. You also need good product knowledge, and that comes from good training. If you've got people out on your sales floor, say you're in face-to-face, and they don't actually know the product that they're trying to sell, when your customers come in and ask questions, they're going to deliver rubbish answers. And if they deliver rubbish answers, your customers aren't going to trust them, and chances are they're going to go elsewhere. Lastly, customer engagement. And that's basically about the type of person that is delivering the customer service. You want them to be polite, you want them to be helpful, but not too pushy. Nobody likes a pushy salesperson. You want them to be friendly, positive body language, well-dressed, good personal hygiene. All of those sorts of things are really, really important. There's some videos, I believe, on the PowerPoints and on the Google Classroom of customer service examples. And I'm sure you've all got your own stories of customer service that you've seen and received, which gives you a bit of an idea of what is good customer service. So, a bit longer than last time, but hopefully that helps.